desire of me, and I shall give thee the heathen for thine inheritance, and the utmost parts of the earth for thy possession. Thou shalt bruise them with a rod of iron, and break them in pieces like a potter's vessel. Good afternoon. I've been reading this week about this wonderful book that I've just read from, Book of Common Prayer. This is the familiar one that I use in these short films and is my daily mainstay. And reminded again that its introduction in 1662 was part of an act of uniformity in religion. And that beautiful book was also a political weapon of suppression of difference and religious diversity in the land, and reminds me of its mixed inheritance, how something so wonderful can also be used heavily, as religion always can. And I visited yesterday. Before I spoke to you from Devizes, I was on a bit of a tour of the county, seeing different people and attending different meetings. And I passed by Horningsham Chapel, which I'm going to be writing about this week in my blog, which is, it's just near the Longleat estate and is the first dissenting nonconformist chapel in Britain, or so it's thought. Founded in 1566 for Scottish labourers working at the Longleat estate. And walking around that church, and very pleasingly it was open. I had a look inside, and I was reminded again how hard life was for those who dissented from the established faith in early modern England, right up until the Act of Toleration of 1689, and beyond that, still, of course, for many years thereafter, those who were not Anglicans were perceived to be second-class citizens, and that distinction, which is complex. England was indeed smashed like a potter's vessel, like these ones behind me. It was crazed with divisions and cracks and fissures as it is today, a lot of them religious. And uniformity was the attempt to, in its best light, to hold the vessel intact. But how heavily that landed on some, and how many lives were smashed as a result. So I'm thinking about how we can be one as a people, locally, nationally, and communally, and yet celebrate the difference that is such a feature of British society today, and the pursuit of our common story and the things that hold us together is a vital and godly one. For St. Paul writes, in Christ all things hold together, even the broken pieces of our lives, the shattered things that seem not to be reconcilable or mendable. Church is meant to be a repair shop, like that programme where we put things back together again, and the inheritance is remade so that it might contain living things, that it might hold together, that it might be beautiful and useful once again. So those are my musings today, and so whatever the pieces of your situation today, I pray that you would know the peace and the unity that Christ brings, I believe. God bless you as you go to ground.